Recording in progress.
Now call this meeting of the Bus Transit Coordinating Committee to order. There is a short video. Please give us your attention for that.
This meeting will be conducted as a Zoom webinar to allow for public participation and comments. The Contra Costa Transportation Authority does not condone hate speech in any form. We continually strive to make life better for all members of our community and create an atmosphere where everyone feels a sense of safety and belonging. We ask that anyone who wishes to speak does so with civility, respect, and kindness for others. Citizens will have 3 minutes to speak. It is requested that public speakers state their names and organizations, but providing such information is voluntary. Citizens participating in person wishing to speak should submit a public speaker card to the clerk. Citizens participating by Zoom wishing to speak should use the raise hand feature or dial *9 if participating via phone, and the chair or staff will call upon them at the appropriate time. Written public comments received in accordance with the teleconferencing special notice on the meeting agenda will be provided to the members. If authors of the written correspondence would like to speak, they should raise their hand in Zoom or submit a public speaker card, and the chair will call upon them at the appropriate time. All written correspondence received after that and during the meeting will be entered into the record. Thank you for participating in a meeting of the Contra Costa Transportation Authority.
All right, thank you. Now, Emily, if you could do the roll call, please.
Member Barnes.
Present.
Member Thompson.
Yep.
Vice Chair Churchill.
Here.
Acting Chair Andrzejczyk.
Present.
We do have a quorum.
All right. So next item on the agenda is public comment. Emily, have we received any written public comments?
We have not received any written public comments.
And is there anyone wishing to speak during public comment on an item that is not part of the agenda?
We do not have any public in attendance, and I don't have any speaker cards or raised hands.
Okay. So next item on the agenda is the election of chair and vice chair for 2024. Do we have any nominations for chair and vice chair? So just a note for the rotation guidelines. We have designated chairs and vice chairs, which are Chair Michael Hirsch and Vice Chair Bill Churchill. So I think we need a nomination to that effect.
I move that we keep it the way it is. For one more year. I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Motion by Barnes, second by Thompson. Roll call vote, please.
Member Barnes.
Yes.
Member Thompson.
Yes.
Vice Chair Churchill.
Yes.
Acting Chair Andrzejczyk.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
So I completely skipped over the public comment part of that item. So
we have not received any public comments.
Okay, thank you. And I see no hands here. All right. Next item on the agenda is the consent calendar, which includes a summary of actions from October 2nd, 2023, our last meeting. Are there any changes or comments from the committee? Nope, seeing none. Any written public comments?
We have not received any public comments.
Okay, if anyone from the public would like to speak, there's no one here, but anyone online, raise your hand.
No raised hands.
All right.
Well then, Churchill, I move. Barnes, second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Member Barnes.
Yes.
Member Thompson.
Yes.
Vice Chair Churchill.
Yes.
Acting Chair Andrzejczyk.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, now on to our regular agenda items. The first item is an action item that will be introduced by Ying Smith to discuss allocating Regional Measure 3 funds to the North Bay Access Transit improvements for the Eastern Contra Costa Transit Authority, bus replacement, and a hydrogen fueling station.
Thank you, Acting Chair. Ian Smith, CCTA staff. The item in front of you is a request for allocation, concurrence of allocation in the Regional Measures 3, Project 26, which is North Bay Access Transit improvements. The request came from Eastern Contra Costa Transit Authority, also known as Tri-Delta Transit. They're requesting allocation amount of $6,670,000 for bus replacement as well as a hydrogen fueling station. And the staff recommendation is to approve the resolution 2415G to support Tri-Delta Transit's allocation request. Also, for the committee's information, the Tri-Delta Transit Board approved a resolution for this funding request at their February 28th meeting. That concludes my report. Let me know if there's any questions.
We have not received any public comments. No raised hands.
I'll make that motion. Thompson?
Churchill, I'll second it.
Member Barnes?
Do I need to abstain? No, I don't think so. All right. Yes.
Member Thompson?
Yes.
Vice Chair Churchill?
Yes.
Acting Chair Andrzejczyk?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, thank you. And on to the second item, which is an informational item that will again be introduced by Ying Smith to provide an update on the TDM 2.0 and the draft Transportation Fund for TFCA policy, Transportation Fund for Clean Air.
Thank you again. So you have the staff report as well as the attachment A for your information. So some of you probably have heard about this item a bit more. The last time we came to you was the October meeting last year. So we provided some information on what we call the TDM 2.0 travel demand management enhancement. And what we're also proposing to our board is a new policy to allocate the transportation fund for clean air 40% fund. And this one, we have quite a bit of discussion with our regional transportation planning committees, as well as with some of you. What we have in front of you is the policy, a proposed policy, and this has been revised since we, in February, with feedback we received from the RTPCs. So the key in this transportation policy, TFCA policy, is to establish a more formal process for our board to adopt to guide the fund allocation. And we want to highlight the most important piece is the fund allocation principles. Well, let me go back one step. The reason why we came to you is all transit operators are eligible fund recipients. You could be supporting projects moving forward, and other eligible funds project sponsors are the cities, the county, the RTPCs, as well as CCTA. So we would like to share this with you and get your input. But our RTPCs will be actually making, they have the role to play in prioritizing the projects within their sub-regions. So the fund allocation principles, what we want, one important element is the geographic equity, and that's very important to our stakeholders. What we're proposing here is each of the 4 subregions should receive proportional TFC benefits based on the job housing formula, which is the equal weight of 50% to jobs, 50% to housing. We defined 2 big categories of projects. One is countywide projects. Those are the projects benefit all residents or commuters in all geographic areas. And those projects will be kind of taken off the top. The second group will be the sub-regional projects. Those will be the projects benefit 1 or more subregions, but not the entire county. So we have on the bottom of your attachment A, we have a calculation. What is the key is the RTPCs will prioritize regional projects and they will submit the recommendations to the CCTA board. And the authority board will approve the final project list. That's what they normally do. So I want to actually jump to the calculations because that's an area we got quite a bit of questions. Hope you can see this table. This is how we show a sample, like an example how we do the calculations. As I first explained, there are countywide projects. So we put in those are not final numbers, but just have some numbers for us to work with. For example, in this scenario, there will be $565,000 will go to countywide projects. The total county total of TFC funds available for FY 24-25 is roughly $1.7 million. So after we subtract the countywide projects, there will be roughly 1.18 available for sub-regional projects. So this part of money will go to each sub-region, and then it's up to the sub-region RTPC to prioritize their projects. So the bottom of the table on my screen is a yellow color. This shows a calculation when you sum up each sub-region's benefit from the countywide projects plus their share of the sub-regional projects, they will get to that, their percentage. And the percentage in the second column, that is the current job housing formula by each subregion. So hopefully that kind of in a very quick way to explain how the kind of the gist of the TFC policy. The policy also have some items that talk about the administration steps. That is like, it is part of the policy, but unless you have questions, we don't have to go into details. That's a quick presentation, and I'm happy to answer your questions.
All right, thank you, Ying. Any questions, comments from the committee?
Through the chair, thank you for your presentation. With regards to the reporting, that's a big change, right, from the past in terms of how we report. Is that true?
So the basic reporting requirements stay the same as per the Air District's guidance. What would like to see improvement we may not get done in 1 year, right? Could take several years, is to improve data quality, to really request for the actual data that was measured instead of self-reporting or instead of heavily rely on assumptions. Would this group say if you would provide transit services, your measurable data will be ridership? That is usually pretty straightforward, and maybe also vehicle miles, and those are all measurable data, and would like to see that kind of hard data instead of heavily rely on assumptions and self-reported data.
And the reason why I asked that, I just want to make sure that this group is aware of what those reporting changes could look like, and especially if we're not talking about this year, but next year. So that will be helpful to better understand what we're signing up for if we were to go after these available funds.
Yep, thanks for the comment.
All right, thanks. Member Barnes, any other comments? Okay, any public comment? Seeing no one in the room?
We've not received any public comments.
Okay. And if anyone online would like to speak, you can raise your hand.
No virtual public comments.
Okay. This was an informational item, so no roll call, no vote. That concludes our regular agenda items. Next item on the agenda is correspondence and communications. Does anyone have anything they would like to report?
Nothing from me?
Okay. Nope. Nothing from myself. Okay. Then I guess we move on to adjournment. The next regular meeting is proposed for June 3rd at 2:30 p.m. And I think that's it.